In the far reaches of the galaxy, powerful alien empires gathered on a bright blue world called Ovrin 7. The Galactic Council met under a glass dome where stars shined above them. Creatures with silver skin, burning eyes, and wings of light sat in floating chairs. Each one ruled a system. Each one believed they were the peak of life in the universe. A signal had arrived. It was small and strange, sent from a planet known only as Earth. Few had ever visited that world. Even fewer had paid attention to its people. The signal was clear. Earth refused to surrender. The room echoed with laughter. One insect-like commander tapped his sharp fingers on the table. They still use fire and steel. How cute. A jelly-bodied diplomat floated up. They think they're ready for war. I doubt they've even left their own star. Another voice, smooth and sharp, added, "Let them bark. When our fleets arrive, they will kneel. They always do." And so, the council agreed. Earth was small. Earth was weak. Earth would fall. What no one noticed was a silent ripple through the stars. Behind the moons of Neptune, deep in the cold dark, something stirred. Metallic wings unfolded in the shadows. Engines long asleep began to glow. Earth had not replied with fear. It had replied with silence. And behind that silence, a storm had been waiting. Across the void, one of the council's listening satellites picked up a whisper. Just 2 words. Low, steady, human. We're ready. No one laughed after that. Far beyond Earth's orbit, in a place where sunlight barely reached, giant objects floated in perfect silence. They did not blink. They did not hum. They simply waited. These were not ordinary machines. These were the results of 20 years of planning. Earth's hidden guardians, built in the dark and prepared for a future no one had believed in. After first contact, Earth had changed. Governments had fallen. Nations had joined. There were no longer separate flags. There was only one. Humanity. The leaders of Earth had seen the stars and knew what was coming. The aliens didn't hide their pride. Their broadcasts spoke of Earth, like it was a stone in their path, but Earth had watched. Earth had learned. And then, Earth had disappeared from their view. That was the first sign. Behind Pluto's orbit, engineers had worked in silence. They lived and died in secret outposts where communication was limited, where sunlight was a rare visitor. The project had no name in the open, but those who knew called it only one thing: Project Eclipse. Each ship was covered in a light-absorbing shell, darker than space itself. The engines left no trail. The weapons were not designed to destroy planets, but to send a message. These ships were not created to conquer. They were created to stand, to show that Earth would not be taken lightly. The rest of the galaxy thought Earth was quiet because it had nothing to say. But the truth was far more unsettling. Earth had been preparing its first sentence, and when it spoke, every system in the galaxy would hear it, a whisper first, then a shadow, and then the stars would go dim, not from clouds, but from Earth's return. The first alien ships entered Earth's solar system with calm confidence. Their hulls were polished gold and humming softly with energy. They weren't a battle fleet, just a scouting party. 3 ships, light and fast, sent ahead to scan and report. The Council had said Earth would not resist. There would be no need for force. But even so, they came prepared, just in case. The lead ship, Varnix's Gaze, opened a communication channel to Earth. The crew expected to hear confusion, maybe fear. Instead, they heard nothing. Not static, not refusal, just complete silence. That silence was the first thing that made them uneasy. They moved past Mars slowly, scanning everything. Earth's satellites were silent. No transmissions, no defenses. Earth itself appeared still, floating blue and alone in the black. The alien captain tilted his head and smirked. "Too easy," he said. Then his radar officer froze. A signal, small, but growing, approached from the edge of the system. No ID, no heat trail. moving fast but silent. Not a rock, not a comet. It was shaped, too perfect. A triangle. No, multiple triangles. Sleek, dark, low profile. The alien crew watched their screens as the objects came closer. One ship, two, then 20, then more. They weren't coming from Earth. They were rising from the deep cold behind Neptune. No launch trails, no warnings. Just presence. One of the aliens whispered, "What are they?" But no one had an answer. An automated signal clicked on inside the alien ship. It didn't come from Earth or from any known frequency. Just a single human voice, clear and calm. "You've entered protected space, turn back." The alien captain laughed. Protected? By who? The stars outside his window suddenly shifted. A massive dark structure moved between him and the sun. It wasn't natural. It was shaped human. A second message followed. "This is your only warning." Before the captain could reply, every screen on his ship went dark. Then, without sound, his sensors vanished one by one. The ships weren't firing. They were watching, waiting. And in that moment, for the first time, the aliens weren't sure if Earth was the prey or the hunter. The message reached the Galactic Council in less than an hour. 3 scout ships had entered Earth's system. None had responded since. At first, the Council thought it was a technical glitch. Then came the footage. Brief, unclear, but enough to cause silence in the chamber. A shadow had covered one of their ships. Not a natural shadow, not an asteroid. Something shaped, something built, something human. Council members stared at each other. The laughter that had once filled their meetings was now replaced with doubt. "They were not supposed to have this kind of fleet," one ambassador said quietly. Earth was not ready for space war, but Earth hadn't built for war. Earth had built for silence, for planning for the day someone would come. Across the stars on the edge of the Milky Way, the rest of Earth's armada began to move. Not toward Earth, but away. They weren't defending anymore. They were pushing forward. With slow precision, Earth ships entered alien border zones, unchallenged. Observation satellites went dark. Communications blinked out. Where Earth's ships passed, light disappeared, but no shots were fired. No worlds were harmed. Only presence. Only quiet. Inside Earth's command room, no cheers were heard. No victory songs played. Just focus. Calm. The goal was never to destroy. The goal was to be understood. The message was clear. Earth was no longer a silent observer. It had watched enough. Now it was part of the great conversation. In distant spaceports, alien captains whispered of ships with no signal trails, of silent fleets moving like shadows, of Earth's strange strategy, advance without speaking, appear without warning. Some called it strange, others called it smart. But all of them started to worry, because nothing caused more fear among the Council than a species that didn't need to threaten anyone, and still wasn't stopped. And far beyond, above a quiet moon, a single human fleet sat, unmoving, watching a Council outpost. No message, no weapons raised, just a quiet presence in the dark. Waiting. The Galactic Council finally responded, not with words, but with action. A fleet was assembled, the largest seen in a generation. Hundreds of ships gathered from dozens of systems, shining with the most advanced alien technology. They moved together like a wall of light, traveling toward Earth with full confidence. The goal was simple: show Earth its place, remind it who ruled the stars. But Earth didn't wait. Before the Council fleet could even reach halfway, Earth's ships disappeared from their edge posts. For a moment, the aliens thought Earth had backed down, but then came the reports. Small at first, an outpost in Sector 9C had lost power. A mining colony in Helios Drift reported strange signals, then silence. A trade route was suddenly blocked by ships that matched no known design moving in complete formation. Earth had moved first, and not with brute strength, but with precision. Their ships didn't go for battles. They went for systems, communication links, energy relays, key pathways the Council relied on. Within days, entire supply chains went dark. Not because of damage, but because Earth's fleet stood there, quietly, watching. No demands. No replies. No visible weapons used. Just presence. And that was enough. The alien commanders grew nervous. These were not the humans they had studied. This wasn't the Earth they remembered. What species studies every weakness, builds in silence, and then walks directly into the core of its enemy's networks without a sound? In council chambers, the conversation shifted. Where did Earth get this knowledge? One asked. How are they moving so freely? No one had answers. Some suspected help from ancient civilizations. Others feared Earth had found something the rest of the galaxy had missed. But one elder, silent until then, spoke at last. They learned it from us, he said. Not through contact, but by watching. Every empire they've seen, they remembered. And they built their own path forward, one we never expected. Across alien news networks, a new name began trending, the Quiet Storm. That's what they called the Earth fleet now. Ships that came without sound, ships that blocked the light, ships that didn't speak, but changed everything around them. And in the heart of Council space, a single message was received by an outpost commander. We are not here to conquer. We are here to be seen. The galaxy had looked at Earth for centuries and seen a child. Now they saw something else entirely. 3 suns rose over the Council's homeworld, giant, golden, and warm, lighting up its sky like fire across water. It was a day like any other. Markets opened, ships moved through orbit, and leaders prepared for more meetings, more decisions. Then, the light began to fade. At first, people thought it was a rare eclipse. But then it happened again, and again. 3 times each sun dimmed, not fully but enough to cast long shadows over the grand cities of the Council. Eyes turned upward, sensors activated, and defense systems flared online. That's when they saw them. Not 1, not 10, but hundreds of ships lined across the sky, blocking the light like a moving curtain. No warning, no transmission, no noise, just presence. Dark, sleek, and still. Earth's fleet had arrived. The Council, once so proud, stood in silence. The fleet hadn't fired. It hadn't invaded. It simply floated, massive, precise, and unshaken. A silent statement. Earth was not asking for permission anymore. Inside the Council tower, messages poured in, trade systems frozen, patrol ships refusing to move, outposts across 5 sectors dark, not because they were destroyed, but because they had been bypassed. Quietly, efficiently, a single message appeared on every Council screen. We do not rise to rule, we rise to belong. The Council, made of dozens of ancient empires, had never seen such a move. No force, no speech, only strategy. Presence. Calm control. An elder Council member looked out the window at the sky. They're not taking the stars from us, she whispered. They're reminding us we never owned them. And just like that, Earth's fleet turned. They didn't destroy. They didn't take. They simply left. But their presence remained. On every world. In every report. In every whisper, Earth had arrived not to fight, but to reshape how power looked in the galaxy. No one laughed anymore. They watched the skies, waiting, wondering. Because now, whenever a sun dimmed just slightly too long, every world paused and thought of Earth.